Hello and welcome to the second episode of In a Cold Sweat. I'm your host, Kyle Harrison.
And I am Stephen Knutson.
Continue.
Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Nice and early. Nailed that smooth transition.
Yeah. You know how it is.
Wonderful.
It's just, it's early stages yet of the podcast. Still learning, right?
Chat, how are the sound levels there? Is Steve too loud or am I too weak?
I don't know. You seem perfect in my ear, but I don't know. How do we sound? Should I check it out on?
What the?
What's going on?
I do not know how to change the sound levels in Skype.
Oh.
You know what? Maybe that. Does that say something? Does that fix it?
Hello. Not sure.
It looks like it should be. Hey, Discuro, does that mean he needs to be a bit louder or a bit lower? I'm not hearing an audio feedback, so I don't know.
Yeah, I can't hear anything. I can only hear Kyle.
It's going great. So, anyways, just wanted to, let's just kind of get right into it. Okay, so Steve needs to be a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
I will go ahead and make that adjustment.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, cool. Just keep letting me know if any more sound adjustments need to happen. I have absolutely no trouble making that change. Also, his sounds as if it's on a cave.
Mine?
Apparently.
Really? That's odd.
Does that mean like there's some sort of audio feedback loop? Because it sounds normal to me.
How's that? Is that any better?
So anyways, I think he says yes.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, so I mean, first and foremost, let's officially get this thing going and started. I know we're a slight bit late today.
A little bit. Half hour late.
External circumstances. But I'd like to take the opportunity to discuss some updates to the podcast itself. First of all, you heard it. It's the brand new intro music, created by one Steve.
Me.
Yeah. As well as I'm using some. It's the name is I'm using a service called Tasty to kind of fill in the rest of the blank audio. So that's also brand new.
What's Tasty?
It's kind of like it's like an audio library of just generic stuff that I'm legally allowed to stream.
Oh, nice.
So that'll just kind of fill in whatever gaps that we don't have filled in yet. On top of that, I mean, we got a brand new name for this podcast. All credit goes to Steve for coming up with the name.
It was kind of on the fly. I was kind of just writing. I knew we needed a bit of an intro for the thing, and I was like, well, you can't just call it Cold Sweat Games Podcast. That doesn't really roll off the tongue. So it just kind of popped into my head.
Hey, I like it. So the new name it was not actually mentioned in that little blurb. Is In a Cold Sweat. It's called In a Cold Sweat. So that is the new name for the podcast. I love it. I've been running with it. I've been renaming everything to mirror that. So to keep on going with the podcast news, because honestly that was it was a huge part of the focus as of recently, because we do want to keep upgrading this thing. We want to make this. We're trying to continue to make this thing better and better and better. So with that being said, I have discovered how to do what are called stingers or video transitions. So I'll be working on those with music and sound effects by Steve. That's going to be great. I am super stoked to get started on those. And in even more news, so while you can catch the broadcast live here on twitch.tv/ColdSweatGames, and you'll be able to watch the video on demand here as well as on the Cold Sweat Games YouTube channel. I am pleased to announce that we have separated, like I was going to make an analogy, but it's not going to work. I've separated the audio out, and I am uploading the audio-only versions to an aggregator known as Anchor. And Anchor is helping us distribute the podcast's audio all the way out to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Podbean, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
I'm so excited. I listen to I use Stitcher almost every day of my life.
Thank you so much for the follow, Descuro. Welcome to the party.
Yeah, thank you.
You know what? Actually, that reminds me. I did want to give a very quick shout out to a couple other new followers. Solitude, thank you for joining us. Nopicon, thank you so much for following. Cold Sweat Steve, thank you for finally following.
No problem, man.
High five? High five?
High five.
High five? Yeah, there we go. I like it. Okay, so, but that being said, the propagation is still ongoing, so this is a very new thing. This is a very new development just yesterday even. So while I know it's on Spotify, and I know it's on, Radio Public, and a couple others, it's still... Google Podcasts is there, but Google Podcasts still has yet to refresh, so that'll take a hot minute. Apple Podcasts notoriously takes a few days.
Yeah.
So it will get there. It will get there across the services, or at least Anchor promises me to do so. But if at any point that you discover that it is not showing up, just let me know, and I will deal with it, because I want to get this thing out there. I want to get this thing broadcasted.
Yeah, we need to blow up, is what he's trying to say.
That's right. So, with the podcast news out of the way, how about we dive into a little bit of personal news? Steve, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, where do I start? I've been working a lot. I just started a new job 2 weeks ago, doing production.
I bet that's taken up homes. Yeah, and I'll bet you that's taken up a bunch of time.
Oh yeah, a ton. And then for the last 2 weeks as well, probably since a little bit before I started the new job, I've been moving. So I've had to move an entire 2-level house out. I mean, Jessica did a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
But it's been a lot of, after work, going home, and, the boxes she packed, I'm, packing in the car and taking out of the house, and, it's been a headache. But finally, last night, I cleaned everything out. So, that's good. I don't know. I guess I should talk about, since this is a video game podcast, I've been thinking a lot about games I've been playing lately. And,
all right, fire away, shoot.
Yeah, so games I've been playing are Ark, Survival Evolved, but I think it should be Survival Uninsured, because every time I log in, if it's not a friendly server, like someone I know is playing, then I get killed immediately.
Are you used to playing survival games?
No, it's a pain in the ass. Just every time I spawn, there's a level 11 person who's not even named. They're just called human. And then they just
Yeah, the genre is an acquired taste. It's one of those... I like survival games. They don't like me back. It's a really hard relationship.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you know what? I will give it its ups. It has quite decent modeling. To the pro, I have a con. While the modeling is good, the animation is shit.
Yeah?
Well, not shit. I wouldn't say shit. It's just kind of it's not great. Loopy. Very loopy. It's got a fast character creation, too, which I kind of dig.
Yeah, I haven't played much of Ark, so I won't be able to like contribute too much to this.
I think you should definitely check it out. You should play with me.
You know,
Actually,
I had
that
it
brings me to
downloaded
my
on
next
Game
point.
Pass. Yeah, I had it downloaded on Game Pass for ages, and I never got around to it.
Well, yeah, I finally installed it yesterday. Or no, not yesterday. 2, 3 days ago.
Well, maybe we should play that on stream.
Oh, that would be fun. Because that brings me to my next point. Like I was saying, it's got really good connectivity. Like,
I'd hope so. It's kind of online.
it's sweet. It's good connectivity. It's a fun cooperative experience. It's pretty buggy though. While it's fun and it's imaginative, it's quite buggy.
Okay. Yep, yep.
That's pretty much all I gotta say about Ark. I've been playing Metal Gear Survive as well, and The Hunter.
Oh, jeez, I'm sorry.
I know. Well, I figured I owe it to the brand because I've played every other Metal Gear Solid game.
I think you're allowed to skip this one. It has nothing to do with the rest of the franchise.
I know. I feel like, I feel like I owe it. I have to at least play it. And it's underwhelming so far.
Yeah, not so much enjoying stabbing zombies over and over through a chain link fence.
It's just constant stabbing, and I'm really bored. Like I created one weapon.
Yeah, that's the consensus right there.
Yeah, I created one weapon. Now I'm really bored. 2019 IGN. I downloaded, but I haven't played it yet. It's called Quantum Break. I think it just came out on Game Pass. I know it didn't just come out. I think it came out in 2016.
Okay.
Have you heard about it? Have you played it?
Yeah, Quantum Break. I gave it a shot around the time it got launched.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of that Remedy DNA in it. You've played Max Payne before, right?
I haven't played it, honestly.
Okay,
I gotta skip that because
I guess saying it's got a lot of Max Payne in it isn't gonna do much for you. So what about that? What's that other one that Remedy did? It's on the tip of my tongue. It was Max Payne, and then it was the one with the writer.
The one with the writer.
Ah. Isn't that the
They all have a writer.
serial show in between gameplay? Yeah, Desk. Quantum Break was interesting because they wanted to like meld like live TV or some nonsense in with the gameplay. Yes, Alan Wake. That was it. That's the one. Thanks, Desk.
Alan Wake. I'd play that.
You have played that one.
I think I have.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So it's all the same developers, right? And so. Quantum Break, I didn't hate it. I thought it was quite enjoyable for the couple hours that I did play it.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, it's one of those ones where you come away and it's like, wow, I thought that was supposed to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more of a big deal than it was. So, yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know. Just seemed interesting. Coming from someone who's not, like, really involved, I mean, like, I just heard about this game less than a week ago.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, like, to add a little bit of context here, like, Steve has been way out of the loop when it comes to the current generation of games. He's been toting the same PS3 since you were still in school, weren't you?
Until February of this year.
Yeah, so it wasn't until I was able to, where I upgraded my Xbox, that I was able to lend Steven an Xbox One, and through that he's been able to like really get his feet wet in some next generation gaming.
It's changed my life.
I would hope so. So that's why you see him like Quantum Break.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude, have you heard about this game?
So I see here that we got ourselves a story. Now I heard about this story with regards to one Iron Maiden. But
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to look into that. Can you tell me about that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm very excited about
what's
this
going
one.
on with there? I see it's like a lawsuit against a property called Ion Maiden.
Yeah, so basically, Iron Maiden is suing 3D Realms because they released this game called Ion Maiden. They're saying that its logo is a total ripoff of the metal kind of typeset that they use for their logo that they registered in '83 or '84,
Okay.
and they're trying to sue for I think it's $2 million. I think it's okay. The heavy metal band Iron Maiden is suing the former owners of the Duke Nukem IP over Ion Maiden, a first-person shooter that launched on Steam Early Access in February 2018. Ion Maiden, developed in the 24-year-old build engine that first ran Duke Nukem 3D, is a canonical follow-up to Bombshell, which launched in 2016. That game began life as Duke Nukem Mass Destruction until a 2014 lawsuit forced 3D Realms to invent a new character and storyline. The developer ultimately had to start the game over from scratch. That would be Ion Maiden. Iron Maiden's holding company filed the lawsuit in a California federal court on Tuesday, alleging trademark infringement both in the riff on the band's name and the stylized logo presenting it. While the band's namesake is a torture device, some say apocryphal, I think it's apocryphal, from medieval times, its logo, and particularly the steel cut typeface it uses, has been registered in the United States since 1984. And then it goes on to show like the actual court documents and stuff like that, and a side-by-side comparison of what it looks like. Oh, I think I can flip this around.
Well, here I'm actually going to show it on the stream.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I just tried to show them with my camera because I am not fluent in technology.
All right, I think I got this thing up now.
Excellent. I can't flip my.
That's so ridiculous. This is a great. I'm actually just gonna kind of keep this up.
The Iron Maiden thing, or
Yeah. There we go. That's just gonna stay up for a little bit now.
Iron Maiden's complaint asks for $2 million in statutory damages. Can you believe that?
That's ridiculous. That whole thing is ridiculous. Like, okay, I mean, like from the outside looking in, I don't know a whole lot about Iron Maiden or what, or even like about these. I don't. I see this splash. I see this logo, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't see the Iron Maiden like super connection there. Not enough to sue.
I see it in the name, obviously. You know, but
Iron Maiden, fantastic.
But come on, I would think that the guys in Iron Maiden, they should have enough of a sense of humor to, you know,
a little
let that slide.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you know, bands are gonna band.
I don't know. I think that's ridiculous. Did you say bands are gonna band?
I don't really know how to close that out.
There's no good way.
But I just wanted to keep this kind of moving here. So I mean, like that's a shame about the Iron Maiden things. I wish those guys well. I mean, I mean they're working with the build engine, so clearly they don't have a couple million just kicking around. I mean, like a litigation like that's not going to really stand.
No.
You know, it's you know, it might be aping the style a bit, but whatever.
I think the court is definitely going to be like, no, that's stupid. Like you don't own the words Iron Maiden.
That's right. Toss this shit out of here.
I think it's not enough of a likeness. I think it's too cyber-y to be compared to the steel cut typeface.
So speaking of steel cut.
yeah, moving along. Other music stuff that's been going on for future music endeavors. I downloaded a ton of new rock and metal drum tracks, and I'm getting that stuff figured out. Also, here I can show you right now.
So I just got an update from Dask here, and he says, as a lawyer, and he is, he can tell it shouldn't do much of anything, based on the fact that the band name and the brand is allocated to merchant music rather than video games. So yeah, that's the other part of it too. Totally separate industries.
That's true.
If you
I
want to
never
stretch it, you
thought
could
of
argue
that.
digital media sales.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic point, Dask. Thanks for bringing that up.
That's a great point.
So anyway, so you grabbed some new music, so we should be hearing some more interesting,
oh yeah,
some more varied tracks, I should say.
very soon. I download a lot of stuff. 13 new loop packs, rock and metal drum tracks, jazz, classical, electronic, tons of stuff. And I have in my hand here what Kyle ordered.
So that's the beauty there, eh?
This is it. The Behringer Guitar Link UCG 102.
So this is what we were talking about in the last one when we talked about this interface that he can connect his guitar up to his computer.
Yeah. Yeah, and so far I haven't really gotten it to work yet because the program that I got with it, AC Box Combo, the company, it just leads you through a bunch of different loops and rabbit holes on their website, and it doesn't actually allow you to register the program. So I can't really use the program. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. I don't know what was happening.
Is the program totally necessary? Can you use another program to do the recording?
I think I could probably use it in Acid.
Okay.
In Sony Acid. But it gives me in the instruction booklet, it says to use Audacity, which I thought was pretty funny.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, I don't mind Audacity. It's a simple enough program. It's good for free-based,
yeah,
programs.
But yeah, we'll get that figured out offline though.
Yeah, eventually.
And I see you have a new segment out here in the notes.
I do.
Things Steve hates today.
Yeah, bees. They ruined my day-to-day at work. They keep flying into my face, and that's not okay. But things I love today is something I just
Things Steve loves today.
Ritz Crisp and Thins sea salt flavor. It's a brand new thing.
Boom.
Yeah. This is the big thing. We're gonna have actual music. I'm gonna take that snippet out, and I'm gonna turn that into a song. Things Steve hates today.
Descuro says, something, Steve's face was all sweet today, so much so that the bees went for it.
It is sweet.
It's a pretty sweet face. Look at that.
I've been told I have sweet eyes. Sweet eyes, a handsome smile.
So,
yeah, what about yourself, Kyle? What have you been up to?
Honestly speaking, it has been very, very exhausting this past week. I have never just kind of come home and just laid down on the carpet and passed out. I have barely had the capacity to even sit at my computer for longer than an hour. And when I am, I'm just hyper distracted these days. But I try my best to channel it. Sometimes it's not always successful this weekend. This weekend is going to be just as busy as last one, so I don't know how much actual development time I'm going to be able to get in.
Yeah.
But you know, for recreation purposes. I didn't do much gaming this week because we've been busy doing a bunch of other things. Um,
That's
but
fair.
like, I took the opportunity. I sat there and I said to myself, you know, I keep I keep trying to get into Battlefield 5. I keep trying. I like the game. The mechanics are fine. I don't exactly
Hmm.
have a specific area of problem. I find I'm just not having fun with it anymore.
I wonder why.
And that's
Is it? What about it is different from
honestly,
BF4?
to me, I think the problem is because it's a live service game. It's constantly underneath
Mm.
the ability to change at a moment's whim. Just recently, Dice deleted a couple of game modes
Oh, really?
just because they weren't populated enough, like Firestorm and one other one. I forget the other one. Um, it doesn't really matter though, but it's like part of the part of the fun of Battlefield is the progression system, and this is specifically if I had to pinpoint something that I just did not like about Battlefield 5, it'd be the progression system.
Hmm.
It's so what on it is not rewarding you enough to give you reason to keep going? Yeah, it's the progression system. When you do things, you earn virtual currency, and you use that virtual currency to unlock another camo. Or see, you know what? Actually, specifically, I think the main problem with it. This might actually tie into our topic later on. Um, is the fact that like you grind and you grind and you grind and you grind, and the rewards you get don't always coincide with what you're doing. Or it aggregates into a virtual currency with which you just spent like 25 hours trying to get enough of in order to specifically get that color of scope that you're looking for.
Right.
Um, but then like you use this gun over here for I don't know, man. It's such a disgusting mess of a progression system. I hate it.
Sounds like a disgusting mess.
Um, and like I don't know, its weird upgrade system is just it's not fulfilling. It doesn't feel like it does enough as you play. It doesn't feel rewarding enough for the amount of grind you put in. And then I thought to myself, what game does? And so that's
Right.
when I uninstall Battlefield 5 and I reinstall Battlefield 4. I'm
Scarebox syndrome too strong. That's pretty funny.
um Battlefield 4, man, I'm having a ton of fun with that one again, and it really is because of the progression system. Like it always shows
Yeah.
you what's on the horizon, like what you are like exactly like 15 minutes away from like unlocking this scope, or you are like you are this much time away from unlocking this thing here. You're unlocking stuff that's useful and relevant to the whatever it is that you're using.
Yeah.
Um, it's
Eternally waiting.
it's not it's not randomized. It's not me gathering a resource with which to spend. It's very direct and in your
Hmm.
face. This, if you keep using the MP5, you're going to eventually get that silencer based on how many kills you get with that weapon.
Right.
And it's just so good. I love Battlefield 4, man. It's such a good game. Once they finally ironed that thing out, it was so good. And the numbers still show. It's still easy to get into a game on Battlefield 4. And since Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1 and 5 have been released, so it's a couple generations behind even.
You've been playing Battlefield 4 for a long time, haven't you? When was Battlefield 4 released? We've been talking about it for a while.
Battlefield 4 was released a little while ago. My daughter's awake and behind me.
Nice.
Oh man.
Good.
Hi, darling. Sorry,
Righteous.
I need exactly 1 second.
I can't tell. Did we? Can you still hear me? Nice. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I just discovered those Ritz crackers, and wow, they are good. I'll say it again, and this is totally unsponsored, I swear. Ritz Crisp and Thins. They probably come in other flavors, but I've only tried the sea salt, and it's amazing. Yeah, I'm still here. Now I just have to vamp. The buttery taste ones. They got a buttery taste. They do. They're good. But that sea salt, it really smacks you in the face in a real good way. I gotta get another bag. I get paid next Friday. I don't know if I can wait till that. It's too far away. It's a good balance between tastes, yes. Reminds me of like Glengarry Glen Ross. What's his name? I don't remember what that guy's name is. I gotta look that up. Hello.
Hi. Well, I guess my daughter's joining me for a minute.
You didn't cut the audio, so I just had to vamp for the last couple of minutes.
Yep, that's what I was hoping for.
Oh, okay, excellent.
All right, so, yes, sorry, I'm so, a little bit all over the place right now. Yes, I do have faith in Steve to be able to vamp for a few minutes.
I don't have faith in Steve to vamp for a few minutes, so thank you. Alan Arkin was the name of that guy in Glengarry Glen Ross. He's like, boots, shoes, yes. Can't remember what he talked about.
There you go. Anyways, sorry, to get back on topic here so we can continue on.
Yes, back we were.
You know what, we are, what do we, I usually have a timer up. Hi.
I don't know how long we've been going for. 34 minutes.
Keep hitting my headphones with Minnie. Sorry, I'm so
You have to hold her. You have to hold her kind of like at arm's length, just like suspended.
That's right.
You can't see it, but I'm doing. Can you see me right now?
Yes.
You can see me because you're watching. Oh, you're watching the stream.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm watching the preview in OBS.
Oh, okay. So I was the only one who wasn't able to see you. It was a real disconnect for me. I was like, I'm not into this like I should be. I'm not into the character of Steve.
I bet you can't hear the music in the background either.
No. All I can hear is you. I'm just calling in.
That's fair enough. Okay, so anyways,
my own show.
So personal updates done. Let's start getting. Is it really that low?
Background. What music are you playing?
It's just some stuff from Tasty. Maybe that'll do it. I don't want it to be too loud so you can't hear.
While I was vamping, I was talking about something tasty. We won't get back into it, but KUURO can vouch for it.
There we go. Okay. Sorry. So, please let me know if the music is starting to get a little too loud. Okay. Yeah, the buttery goodness.
Oh, the buttery goodness.
All praise be the buttery goodness. So, let's talk a little bit of Blast Chamber, the current project of Cold Sweat Games. You know, we're only over a half hour in on this thing, so might as well finally get to the real concept of this podcast.
Yeah. Where we're at. So, I love the note that you've written here about right in the masthead of Blast Chamber.
What is that headline?
I broke everything.
I broke everything.
What happened?
So, I discovered a really dumb bug where it apparently it doesn't matter who picks up the key in this game, because once someone does, everyone can activate the blast chamber.
Oh, good.
So that needed to change. And then through the process of trying to figure out how to get that changed, nobody can activate the computer anymore. And now the connected players can't even pick up the key. So that's currently where I'm at right now.
Great.
I had a core gameplay loop, and nothing works anymore trying to fix it. You know, but that's software development, baby.
Yeah, these are the pitfalls. There's, rises and falls. Life's cyclical. It's a circle. It goes up and it goes down.
Yeah, it's very much a roller coaster experience. Yeah, the current situation is snafu. But I'll get there. I think I've gotten back to the point where now at least players can pick up the key again. But I'll be honest, it's been a couple of it's been a hot minute since I've seen the build work.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that sucks. But I do have some good news. There's lots of good news to go around. The itch.io page for Blast Chamber is now finally live. So you can find it. Yeah, so you can find it at coldsweatgames.itch.io/blast-chamber.
I'm gonna look right now. Let's take a look here.
What you'll find on this page is honestly not a lot right now. It's not even stylized yet. But you'll find the devlogs. And this is where I will keep a regular journal of the journey to developing Blast Chamber. So you'll be able to follow along with that. I think itch.io has an RSS feed that you can subscribe to if you want to. But the journal logs will be there to help. All the links will be in the description of the videos, regardless of where it's at, whether that's on Anchor or YouTube or Twitch or whatever. We'll make sure the links are provided.
Yeah, absolutely. Somewhere.
So, but yeah, on this page you'll be able to find the devlogs, just written journal. That will, anytime I have a real update, I'll put it there too, and then maybe I'll incorporate that somehow into the podcast in later episodes. And beyond that, all I've been doing, and what's really actually taken up a lot of the week during my slivers of free time to do anything, is upgrading my tools. I recently treated myself and purchased what's called the JetBrains Toolbox, which gives me access to a new coding platform called Rider. So this allows me to replace Visual Studio as my coding IDE for Unity, which is great. And then I've also upgraded, and there's no evidence of this yet, but I've also upgraded from GIMP to Affinity Photo, and I am super stoked on that because Affinity Photo is very much like a Photoshop. It's so close. It is so close to being Photoshop. It's immediately comfortable. I love it. I can't recommend Affinity enough. It is such a good tool.
Nice. That's awesome.
I helped do some packaging and other packaging style designs for my wife's business.
Yeah.
And I just started using Affinity for that, and it was like second skin. It's so good.
You just fell right in.
Yeah, I honestly can't recommend it enough. It's so good.
Nice.
And honestly, that's pretty much about it for Blast Chamber.
That's the official update.
Yeah,
we'll fix it.
Well, like Steve said, he's been in the middle of moving, and for myself, we've been work's been slamming me pretty hard, and on top of that, like we've been cleaning house and all kinds of stuff. It's been bonkers busy.
How is learning how to cook going? How did you, how are you learning how to cook? Who's teaching you?
So it's kind of it's kind of a mentorship between YouTube and my wife.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
I decided to.
Uh,
I'm not a cook. I'm not a cook. I am not a person who.
I am not a cook.
um, sorry. Anyways, yeah, no, this cooking thing. It's been a fun journey. But yeah, it just started off because I'm just like, I want to be able to make my wife an eggs Benedict one day,
Yeah.
right?
Oh man.
So that's kind of what started it. But I gotta take baby steps, right? I'm not a cook at all. So starting
Wives
from
love eggs, Benny.
absolutely. So I started learning how to make breakfast sandwiches. That was my first step. And then I poached my first egg just the other day, and they turned out great. You can check out my food journey on my Instagram.
And what is your Instagram?
Links in the description. That's all I got. Instagram.com/DJ Dark Viper, I think. Yeah, I'm learning. I'm getting there. like I
Kyle
said,
are
baby
learning.
steps. Baby steps. Learning a lot of things lately. I'm learning Unity networking. I'm learning more C# than I ever thought I would learn. I'm learning actual Unity. I'm learning new software. I'm learning how to cook. I'm learning. I actually even took a little bit of a journey, and I'm starting to learn machine learning and deep learning. So that's going to be interesting.
Learning.
Yeah.
Learning.
Yeah.
Deep learning.
So these are techniques of teaching an AI how to do a thing, such as play a game, such as play Pac-Man, such as play GTA 5, such as that kind of stuff.
That's so cool.
And part of that is to increase my knowledge of. Well, hi, you back out here again? And part of that is to increase my knowledge of artificial intelligence programming. And the other part about it is to take the next step in my professional journey. Hi.
Hi.
Future Skynet apologist.
Excellent.
It's funny how true that is. When you start getting into the that stuff. Hi. Very distracting you are.
I appreciate how integral the viewership has become in being almost like the third member of our podcast.
Oh man, and that's what I'm hoping for too, man. Like as more viewers come in, as more interaction starts happening, we can make this almost kind of like a little mini online party. Every week essentially. That's what I'm looking forward to. Thank you so much, Deskaro, for being so active in the chat. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
So, that's pretty much it for Blast Chamber. And we've only got a few more minutes left.
Oh,
but,
wow. What time is it?
Well,
how long have we been going for?
54 minutes in.
Wow. Excellent.
I look forward to the day, Deskaro, when the chat is so fast that I'm going to have to hire moderators to pick stuff up for us.
Awesome. One day.
Or maybe I will develop a deep learning algorithm that chooses only the best comments to respond to.
That would be amazing.
So, I wanted to get a little intimate here. I wanted to start talking about a topic that's a little bit near and dear to my heart, and that is monetization in video games.
Hell yeah.
So, if I lower the lights, I'm out. I promise it won't be that intimate. So Steve, you come from... What are you doing?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Now, you come... I would probably say like a core amount of your exposure to monetization in games revolves around the mobile sphere. Is that pretty correct?
Oh yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So how do you feel? How do you feel when you're playing like a Clash of Clans, and that time comes where it's like, I could wait 3 days for this thing to build, or I could buy a little bit of gems. Like, how do you feel about that?
I gotta buy the gems. I feel like this compulsion, this urge, this need. I try to resist. Like when you're playing The Simpsons tapped out or something like that, and suddenly it's like, hey, do you want to buy a donut for $1.29? Who doesn't have $1.29? That's my problem.
You mean for the less than price of a Coke? I can get a virtual donut? Sweet.
I can be like you, rich in donuts?
The return of the whales.
Starbucks in room 2.
The return of the whales.
That's amazing.
But now, I have to ask you, like, if you paid, I don't know, $20 to play Simpsons Tapped Out, for example, how would you feel about buying any of the microtransactions in there?
If I paid $20 to play the game, if I was prompted for more microtransactions, I would be uninterested. I would not. I would be like, I've already given you $20.
Right. So I mean, that's kind of the back and forth that's going on these days. Is, because I mean, you have examples like EA's FIFA, where you're paying $65, $70 for the game, but then to partake in FIFA Ultimate Team, you're spending $2 on a booster pack. You're spending $5 on a pack over here. You're trading for, it's a trading card game. It's like Magic the Gathering almost, but you're building your ultimate hockey team. Or I'm sorry, hockey. Well, I mean it's an NHL as well, but like you're building the ultimate soccer team in FIFA.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's kind of a cheap way. I mean, DLC is one thing where it's like, it's been 6 months or it's been a year. Like, let's throw something else new at you to squeeze a few extra dollars out of it. It's totally different. But when it's like, hey, you can't progress any further in this game unless you buy our stuff, that sucks. And then throw on top of it, like, if you already paid for the game, that just feels like a slap in the face.
See, I fully agree. I do not believe in the concept that full price games, premium games, really ought to be having regular piecemeal microtransactions that you can just keep on constantly sinking money into. I think that takes advantage of people.
Oh, totally.
But like,
like people like me, like I can't help it. I had to stop playing those games.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have an $80 game that turns into a $200 game easy.
Oh, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And then, but then, never mind just buying gems in order to like get a particular reward. Now we're talking about loot boxes where you're spending, you earn a box, and then you buy the key with real money in order to unlock that box, and you're just getting a random reward. You're not even sure what you're going to get.
It could be literally anything. Could be garbage.
Yeah. So it's based on odds, and in fact, right now, somewhere in this Dask, maybe you're a little bit more familiar with this, being a lawyer and all. Maybe you're more on the beat. But there's certain states and certain countries, I think Belgium's one of them, that has actually classified this kind of concept as. I thought I felt a shadow behind me. Where that kind of concept is actually classified as actual gambling.
I think it is gambling, isn't it?
Well, that's what certain authorities are chiming in about.
I'm gonna plug the old computer in.
Dask just straight up says it's gambling, and honestly, I fully agree.
It is gambling. Full stop. There we go. Excellent. Is my audio still okay?
Oh yeah.
It should be coming through too.
Oh, you're great.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Fantastic. So
just
I have a lot of leniency when it comes to free to play games, like stuff where there's no money barrier to entry.
mhm.
I still feel that there really ought to be a way to support a developer with money. Um, and so when
Which
it
is why
comes
I
to
appreciate things like.
yeah,
Sorry, I'll let you finish for once.
yeah, exactly. So, for once,
Yeah, exactly.
so when a product has no money barrier to entry, you can just either download it for free or play it in a web browser for free. It doesn't matter. You can play it for free, and get and you know, even if it is a I don't know, I forget the exact. It's not pay to win, but like it becomes a lot more grindy as it goes, right?
Yeah.
If it was still free to play, I still get it. I still get needing to kind of coax some people. It's like, yo, you know, you've been to get here, you have to have been playing for like 20 hours. I mean, come on, you can throw a couple of bucks our way in order to speed that up a bit.
Yeah, give us a break.
You know, I can get it. Give us a break. But like I can get it. I can get it. If it's a free experience, yeah, throw in the microtransactions. See, that's the thing about Apex Legends. It has every microtransaction.
Everywhere.
Sorry?
I've seen it everywhere. I've seen ads for it absolutely everywhere.
Apex Legends is really good, but it's also free. That's why a whole bunch of people have been able to jump in on it and even like steal a bunch of audience from Fortnite.
Sorry. Cat was bugging me.
Just to catch up with Dask here, he says you get to pay for a chance to get a reward, desirable, for yourself, which is supposedly random and out of your control. Your input begins and ends with your wallet. I like that quote. I like that quote. For the sake of argument, would it be fair to, rather than take on the game perspective, look into what would be actually buying this kind of stuff in the first place? Like the super competitive people who still want to be competitive must spend money to get the best possible stuff to remain competitive, as an example. I mean, that's kind of pay to win, isn't it? Like that's where you're throwing money at a thing to get your equipment to be better, to give you that edge, right? You gotta stay above the people. See, and that's where like something like an Ultimate Team is that. Yes, well, yeah, exactly. To bring that back over to Ultimate Team, absolutely, that is definitely a pay to win concept. You are paying a ton of money to try and find the best cards. Or, you know, you have some pretty good cards and you trade those in to get an even better one. It's a trading card game. But like, to get into a trading card game doesn't cost any money. You're just buying the initial pack.
Right, and then from then on, it should be free.
Yeah,
but it's not always. I mean, there is always. I mean, like anything, I guess. Like, you know, like in Magic the Gathering, you want to buff yourself up, you gotta buy, you know, packs.
Pardon. I just mean like, if you want to get into a trading card game like Magic the Gathering, like Pokemon, like Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever, make your pick and choose of a physical card game. There's no other cost except to buy the initial pack, and that's it. From there on, you're just buying more packs. So that's technically, it's not technically free to play, but there's no other barrier to entry other than just getting your hands on a pack of cards.
Right.
Right, and that will cost money, but like, those cards could be anything. It could be a predefined pack. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got a itchy nose. Geez, what was I even on about?
Had an itchy nose.
Yeah, I know. It's allergy season. It's killing me.
It's always allergy season. You're always dead.
Thanks.
Dead inside.
But anyway, so like I've always had a little bit of leniency when it comes to free-to-play games and them incorporating all the microtransactions in the world. Like I was going to say, like Apex Legends, they throw in every microtransaction trick in the book. You got your you have your virtual currency, you have your grind currency, you have your You can just pay real money for it. But essentially what you're unlocking is either like tiered items based on nothing other than the unlocking of these apex crates is the word I'm looking for. They're apex crates. If I was to draw my own cards that are just like the official ones, same stats, same numbers, does that count? You know what? Unless you're playing in a tournament, I guess it'd be up to your opponent.
Well, we all know my opinion now.
No way. Guys, I was so broke, but you know what? I managed to find myself a Black Lotus.
That's right. Winning.
But anyways, yeah. So Apex Legends, they throw all the microtransaction book in there. Sorry, every microtransaction trick in the book in there. But it's free to play, and that is incredibly important. Where, unlike Battlefront 2, you're paying 60 to 70 to 80 bucks sometimes, depending on the edition you get, and it's still nickel and diming.
Yeah, I don't appreciate that. I don't like that. I think you buy a game, like, unless it's, like I said, like DLC, adding something big, or adding more to the storyline,
like an expansion.
Get banned.
Get banned.
That's all I have to say. Like, I'm not gonna put my money into something like that I've already put money into. It just seems like a waste.
Well, I don't think you're alone in that thought. Is the thing, and certainly, I'm of the same thing here. Like Destiny 2, for example, it does the same thing. It's a full price game, and it's an online live service, and it's still like, well, you throw us some real cash, and you'll get these special engrams in order for you to decode, and it's just a random reward, and it's a mini loot box. It's just absolutely dumb. I can't stand it. So to kind of bring this around full circle, I wanted to discuss what we wanted to do with regards to potential monetization for Blast Chamber. Because, like, I love doing this stuff for free. But, I mean, it's time. It is time. It is development time. And I would really love to be able to, properly pay for assets, for software, for hardware needs, server needs, cost needs. To run an online multiplayer game like Blast Chamber, it's only going to be free
options, so long. But it's like, eventually we're going to want to privately host our stuff. Get away from, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's only going to be free for so long.
Exactly.
Unless it never gets popular. Unless it never gets popular, unless it never cracks the lowest threshold, then it will just be free forever. But outside of that, outside of the hosting costs,
but at the same time, I mean, like, you guys are, we're just happy you guys are enjoying taking in the podcast.
Absolutely. But I want to be able to, pay for artists and potential voice actors one day. I imagine that these avatars that we're going to create for Blast Chamber are going to be screaming and stuff. Maybe not maybe not personality-driven quips like Overwatch or anything like that, but certainly a lot of uhs and uhs.
I think that would be fun.
I gotta make sure I pay the most pristine voice actors for that content.
We need people. That could be our first online contest.
Provide the best grunts.
Yeah, if you send us a grunt, we'll send you a check. That's what Kyle says, not me.
Why did you send me a void check?
Why did this bounce?
I know.
He said he's gonna pay me $500. I got paid 17 cents, and it's not even like, it's in US dollars, so I guess I made a good amount of money.
Why do I fear that you'll be putting Simpsons quotes as placeholders for whatever the avatars may say during gameplay?
Classic.
It won't be Simpsons. It'll be drawn together.
Oh, not. Yeah, we have to be current.
Yes, very current. But I have to go with like at least a canceled series, you know. Undergrads is going to come back. Let's do some Undergrads quotes.
Oh man, have you recently watched Undergrad?
It is hard to sit through.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not really great, but
No,
you know,
it doesn't inspire me.
But anyways, to come back around to it, like, what kind of monetization will be in Blast Chamber? And like, I'm not in the business or even interest level of nickel and diming people for whatever they're worth. That's really not who I am. If I could just make this stuff free forever, I absolutely would. But there are costs associated with an online game. So I just wanted to incorporate as many ways to easily allow you, the players and the viewers, to support this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, outside of the Patreon, outside of Streamlabs, outside of PayPal and blah blah blah, and all the 7,000 other ways to support, inside of the game is what I'm expecting. There will be the avatar will be customizable, because you want to be able to differentiate yourself a little bit, at least on color, between your other players, right? So I'm thinking like maybe like there's some different armor that sports different designs and stuff, and you'll just be able to like unlock those just through natural gameplay. But then there will be,
how it should be.
Yeah, but then there's just going to be a couple of them, like a special supporter shirt or something, armor design, whatever. It's a visual way to show that you are a premium supporter, and you'll be able to buy that armor for like 99 cents or something like that. But you'll be able to choose what it is that you want to buy. It won't be random. It won't be strange. You'll be like, you know what? I feel like throwing a buck at these guys. I'm having fun with it, so I'll buy that shirt, and I'll wear it during game. And I'm hoping that through that kind of model, it will just be enough to support the hosting costs, the asset costs, the talent costs associated with developing a game like this.
Mm-hmm. I think that's important, and I think something like that, making a little something, a little Sousson unlockable, doing a lot with my hands. I think that's
it's a visual medium.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel like I'm not doing enough with my hands.
Anyways, please proceed.
Yeah, as few microtransactions as possible for me. I think like as long as you're playing the game and you're building your character up, like we should just keep making unlockable models.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's going to be the idea. I guess I should also talk about how this thing is going to be released. Because
is it going to be released?
It's going to be released tomorrow. No, Blast Chamber.
Tomorrow.
Blast Chamber is going to be released.
Freaking serious?
No, I wish though. Blast Chamber will be released in kind of an early access phase, as part of its public getting out there. The idea will simply be that I need a minimum viable product in order to release, and what that's going to entail, and that's how I'm envisioning this is going to entail, is there's going to be just the one map. There's going to be a few weapons, 3 or 4, and there will be a non-customizable playable avatar, and
nice.
that right there is going to be the releasable. And then with that there, we will build upon that foundation and keep on adding to the game.
The earliest of access.
Yeah. Well, people put early access on pretty much anything these days. It could be a capsule running around on a block. And people will release that as early access these days.
And people will play it and pay money.
Yes. Well, I mean, they
really?
will. Yeah, they will. It's early access for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is $29.
Wow.
Right, but we won't be doing that.
Yeah,
The Blast Chamber is going to be free to play, top to bottom.
Excellent.
And right now, I'm kind of going back and forth on how you're going to be able to play it. I'm thinking of embedding it right into a web page, in order to remove any barrier of entry. Like, you don't have to download anything. It will always be the most recent version. It'll just be a thing that you can just load up the URL and hit go and get into the game as fast as possible, you know?
KUURO is what you're talking about. Kind of something like, I think I saw something like that on Heyday. Kind of in the, on the mobile game Heyday. The Clash of Clans people made. Where every time a slot is free, you obviously roll something back into that. No, you dog. You should play it.
Farming games?
Yeah. Well, that one. Back in the day, it was fun.
So people must keep looking into the store to see if they spot an item they like from the display slots, or if someone liberates a new slot on display. I might have to chat with you privately more about that system, because that sounds interesting, but I haven't seen an example of it.
That's why I immediately flagged it. I was like, boom, this guy's talking about something. Kyle needs to speak with this fella.
Yep. But yeah, so Blast Chamber, man, it's going to be a game. It's going to be a game you're going to be able to play, and I can't wait for you to play it. I look forward to the day that I can log in and just kind of join an active game of people I don't know, and that is going to be the day that my heart just sings, man.
Yeah. Oh man, Blast Chamber's the one. We're going the distance.
The one what?
The big one.
The big one. All right, so we are an hour 20 into this. I think we should start wrapping this up.
Probably, yeah. I think so too. I mean, did you start the music?
And it is started.
Nice. Can I say it? Kyle?
Yep.
Okay. At the end of our show, we like to take a moment to remind you to subscribe, like, and share our podcast. If you would like to follow us on social media, you can find Cold Sweat Games at Twitch, obviously, Twitter, Instagram, and you can donate to the cause at Streamlabs and Patreon. Thank you so much for joining us this week. This has been Stephen Knudsen.
And Kyle Harrison.
Stay sweaty.
What a catchphrase.
Isn't it? Also, we like to challenge our listeners to take a screenshot of however you're listening to us and post a 24-hour ad on your stories on social media giving us a shout out, and we'll read you into the next episode. Just as kind of a bonus, as a thank you to all you guys. Oh.
Nailed it.
Nailed. I ruined everything.
All right. So that all being said, everyone, I hope to catch you next week, next Thursday, same bat channel, same bat time, and we'll see you then.
I'll be here. Right on. Have a good night.
Expect to see this up on Anchor and your YouTubes and your video on demands and wherever podcasts are played.
Yeah, I'll be listening on Stitcher.
Sounds good. See you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Stay sweaty.
Gross.